What if I told you that the hardest moments in your life could be the very thing that fuels your greatest success? That every setback, every failure, every crushing defeat you've endured, those are the building blocks of something far greater. What if every storm you faced wasn't there to destroy you, but to build you, to carve out the strongest, most powerful version of you? Think about that for a moment. Let that sink in. See, when life throws us into the fire, it feels like everything we've worked for, everything we care about, is at risk. It feels like we're alone, like no one else could understand. But here's the truth. Every person who's ever achieved greatness, who has ever made a mark on this world, has walked through that fire. They have faced unimaginable hardships. They've been on their knees, doubting, questioning, asking if they could go on. And what separates those who emerge stronger from those who don't is resilience. Resilience isn't about ignoring the pain or pretending that everything's fine. It's about looking that pain straight in the eye and deciding, I'm going to rise up anyway. Resilience is the muscle that grows when we face resistance. It's the spark that says, this moment will not break me. In fact, it's going to make me. Now, you might be thinking, that sounds easy, but in the real world, things don't work that way, and you're absolutely right. Life doesn't hand us resilience on a silver platter. It's forged, built, cultivated in those dark, tough moments. Resilience is what you build when everything else is stripped away. Why is resilience so important? Let me ask you, how do you handle setbacks? What do you do when your plans crumble, when a door closes, when you face rejection after rejection? Do you give up or do you get up? Because here's the thing. Resilience is the difference between giving up and getting up. It's what makes one person see failure as the end and another see it as just the beginning. Resilience is what keeps you in the game long enough to win. And let me tell you, life is a marathon, not a sprint. In today's world, challenges are inevitable. Life is unpredictable. You're going to face disappointments, frustrations, and losses. The question isn't if you'll face challenges, but how you'll respond when you do. Are you going to let it defeat you, or are you going to rise from it stronger, smarter, tougher? Resilience is not just about bouncing back. It's about bouncing forward. It's about using every single difficulty, every hardship, every setback to fuel your drive, to strengthen your resolve, to deepen your determination. So here's what we're going to do in this video. Over the next hour, I'm going to walk you through the exact steps to build your resilience, to cultivate it, to turn it into one of your greatest strengths. I'm going to give you the tools, insights, and strategies you need to not just survive tough times, but to thrive in them. Because resilience isn't something you're born with, it's something you built. We're going to dive deep into what resilience is, why it matters, and how you can develop it. We'll talk about the mindset shifts, the habits, the actions that create resilience, the science that backs it up, and the stories of people who faced impossible odds and come out stronger. I'm going to show you how to harness your inner strength, even when you feel like you have none left. Because, my friend, you do. You have power within you that you haven't even tapped into yet. And by the end of this video, my hope is that you'll walk away not only believing in that power, but knowing how to unleash it. This is about more than just surviving. It's about unlocking the courage, the grit, the resilience that's already inside of you. Think about where you are right now in your life. Maybe you're facing challenges at work. Maybe your relationships are going through tough times. Maybe your health is testing you, or maybe you're just feeling lost. Whatever it is, know this. You're not alone. Everyone has their own battles. And the greatest warriors in life aren't the ones who never struggle. They're the ones who know how to rise from that struggle. Today is about giving you a roadmap to build resilience in any circumstance. You might not feel strong right now, but strength isn't about how you feel. It's about what you do. It's about making the decision right now to commit to growth, no matter how tough things get. Because resilience is built one decision, one choice at a time. So let's start this journey together. Let's discover the tools, the mindsets, and the practices that will make you unstoppable. This is your moment. Let's dive in and make resilience your superpower. All right, let's dig into what resilience truly means. Resilience is more than just a buzzword. It's a core skill that can completely transform the way you handle life's inevitable ups and downs. Resilience isn't just about bouncing back when you're knocked down. It's a deep internal ability to adapt, to recover, and most importantly, to thrive in the face of challenges. Think of resilience as your ability to bend without breaking. It's about staying flexible and adaptable, even when life throws you a curveball. Resilience is the skill that allows you to stay strong, to keep pushing forward, even when everything around you feels like it's falling apart. It's what enables you to go through tough times and come out the other side, not just as you were, but stronger, wiser, and more prepared than ever before. When we say that resilient people adapt, recover, and thrive, we're talking about three key aspects. Adaptability resilience allows you to adjust to new circumstances, even when they're painful or unexpected. Life rarely goes according to plan, and resilient people understand this deeply. They don't get stuck in one way of thinking or rigidly cling to their original plans. Instead, they're able to pivot, to shift gears, and to reimagine a new way forward. Recovery resilience gives you the strength to bounce back after setbacks. It's the internal force that picks you up when you're knocked down and keeps you moving, even when the odds feel stacked against you. This doesn't mean that resilient people don't feel pain, sadness, or frustration. They absolutely do. But they don't let those feelings stop them. Instead, they use those emotions as fuel for recovery and growth. Thriving, this is the part that's often overlooked. Resilience isn't just about survival, it's about growth. True resilience allows you to use hardships as stepping stones to become even stronger and wiser. Resilience empowers you to take lessons from every challenge, to harness your experiences, and to build a life that's better than before. When we thrive, we're not just surviving, we're moving forward with purpose and strength. Now, that's the essence of resilience, the ability to keep adapting, recovering, and thriving no matter what life throws your way. It's a powerful skill, and it's one that anyone can develop. Let's take a moment to clear up some common misconceptions about resilience. People often have this image in their heads that resilient people are somehow immune to pain, that they're like these stoic warriors who feel nothing, who never get knocked down. But that's just not true. Myth one, resilient people don't feel pain. One of the biggest myths out there is this idea that resilient people somehow don't feel pain or hardship. People think if I were resilient, I wouldn't feel sad or frustrated or fearful, but let me tell you something, resilient people feel all of it. They feel sadness, they feel pain, they feel fear just like everyone else. The difference is that they don't let those feelings paralyze them. Pain and resilience go hand in hand. In fact, experiencing pain and hardship is what gives us the opportunity to build resilience in the first place. Resilient people learn to sit with their pain, to acknowledge it, and then to ask themselves, what am I going to do about it? They don't let the pain control them, they use it as fuel for growth. So remember, being resilient doesn't mean you're numb to emotions, it means you have the strength to face them head on. Myth two, only certain people are resilient. Another common misconception is that resilience is some kind of inborn trait, like eye color or height, that only some people have. People say, I'm just not resilient, I wasn't born that way, but resilience isn't some magic power you're either born with or not. It's a skill, a set of habits and mindsets that anyone can develop. Sure, some people might seem naturally more resilient because of their life experiences or personality traits. But here's the truth, resilience is accessible to everyone. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, or what you've been through. Resilience is something you can build. Every time you face a challenge, every time you push through a tough moment, you're training your resilience muscle. So don't buy into the myth that resilience is reserved for a select few. You have the power to be resilient, just like anyone else. Myth three, resilient people don't need help. A lot of people think that resilience is about going it alone, about toughing it out and never asking for help. But real resilience isn't about isolation. In fact, one of the most resilient things you can do is reach out for support when you need it. Resilient people understand the value of community, of mentorship, of asking for help. They know that leaning on others doesn't make them weak, it makes them stronger. So let's be clear, resilience isn't about being a lone wolf. It's about knowing when to stand on your own and when to reach out for support. True resilience comes from a balance of inner strength and a willingness to seek help when necessary. Now, why does resilience matter so much? Why is it so essential, especially in today's world? We're living in times of constant change and uncertainty, economic fluctuations, global challenges, rapid technological shifts. It feels like the ground is constantly shifting beneath our feet. In a world that's unpredictable, resilience is no longer a luxury, it's a necessity. Let's face it, life is unpredictable. None of us are guaranteed smooth sailing. Every single one of us will face challenges, setbacks, and unexpected turns. And the truth is, resilience is what allows us to face those difficulties without losing our way. It's what keeps us moving forward. Even when the road is rough, even when things aren't going as planned, when we build resilience, we're building a skill that's going to help us not just survive, but thrive in an unpredictable world. Resilience gives us the power to handle stress, to overcome obstacles, and to maintain our mental and emotional well-being. It helps us stay focused and grounded, even when things around us are falling apart. People who are resilient are also more fulfilled, more confident, and generally happier. Why? Because they're not living in constant fear of what might go wrong. They trust in their ability to handle whatever comes their way. Resilience gives you that freedom, the freedom to pursue your goals and dreams without being paralyzed by the fear of failure or setbacks. Resilience is essential in relationships too. Think about it, any meaningful relationship will have its ups and downs. Building resilience allows you to weather those storms, to grow together, to come out stronger on the other side in your career. Resilience enables you to face challenges head-on, to bounce back from failures, and to keep pushing towards success, no matter how many obstacles you encounter. So yes, resilience is essential in every area of life and relationships, in career and health and in personal growth. It's what gives us the strength to keep going, to keep growing, and to keep creating the life we want, no matter what life throws our way. And the best part? It's never too late to start building resilience, a skill that you can strengthen at any age, in any phase of life. Resilience is not just a trait, it's a tool. It's the ability to adapt, recover, and thrive amid adversity. It's a skill that empowers you to live fully, to face challenges with courage, and to transform hardships into fuel for growth. Every setback, every challenge, every difficult moment is an opportunity to strengthen your resilience. It's your resilience that will allow you to build a life filled with purpose, strength, and fulfillment. So let's take this journey together. And let's start building a resilience that will carry us through anything life throws our way. Let's talk about what's happening inside the brain when we face adversity. Understanding this science, the psychology of resilience, can give us the tools to manage stress, overcome challenges, and ultimately thrive under pressure. Our brain is designed to keep us safe, to help us survive. When we're confronted with a stressful situation, our brain activates a fight or flight response. This response is part of our survival instinct, an ancient system that's hardwired into our brains. When our brain perceives a threat, it releases stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, priming our body to respond to danger. This is useful if we're facing an immediate threat like a wild animal, but in modern life, most of our stressors aren't life-threatening. So why do we still feel this intense reaction to non-physical threats? Because our brain hasn't evolved much beyond that primal instinct. It can't tell the difference between the stress of a looming deadline and a life or death situation. And this is why we feel so much pressure over challenges like work demands, financial concerns, or social conflicts. Our brain treats these modern stressors as if they're a real physical threat, activating the same fight or flight response. Here's the key: resilience isn't about turning off that fight or flight response, it's about learning to work with it. Resilience is the ability to stay calm, focused, and adaptable in the face of stress. When you develop resilience, you're training your brain to handle stress without becoming overwhelmed by it. You're teaching it to pause, to consider, and to respond thoughtfully rather than reactively. This process is called mental adaptability, and it's a crucial part of resilience. When you practice mental adaptability, you're essentially telling your brain, it's okay, I can handle this. This allows you to shift from a reactionary state to a thoughtful one. Instead of letting stress hijack your thoughts, you take a step back, assess the situation, and make a conscious choice about how to respond. Over time, this makes you more resilient because you're no longer at the mercy of your brain's automatic stress responses. Now let's dive even deeper and talk about a fascinating concept called neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the brain's incredible ability to rewire itself. Think of your brain like a network of highways neurons that are connected by pathways that form through repeated thoughts, behaviors, and experiences. The more you think or act in a certain way, the stronger the pathway becomes, just like a well-worn path through a forest. Here's the good news: our brains are adaptable. Neuroplasticity allows us to change our mental pathways, to reshape how we respond to challenges. This means that resilience isn't something you're born with or without, it's something you can build. By repeatedly choosing resilient responses to stress, you're strengthening the pathways associated with resilience, making it easier to handle stress in the future. Let's look at an example. Imagine you're faced with a difficult situation at work. Maybe a project didn't go as planned, or you received unexpected criticism. Your brain's natural response might be stress, frustration, or even panic. But if you consciously choose to respond with resilience by taking a deep breath, reframing the situation, and focusing on solutions, you're creating a new neural pathway. Over time, if you keep choosing this resilient response, that pathway becomes stronger. Eventually, your brain will start to choose that response automatically. This is the science of training resilience. You're literally reshaping your brain to respond to challenges with strength and calm. Neuroplasticity is what makes this possible. It's what allows us to take control of our mental and emotional responses. No matter what we've been through in the past, every time you choose resilience, you're strengthening the neural pathways that support it. And get this, neuroplasticity also means that your past doesn't define your future. Just because you've had difficulty dealing with stress before doesn't mean you're stuck that way. Your brain can change. With practice, you can train yourself to become resilient, even if it doesn't come naturally at first. Neuroplasticity gives us the power to reshape our minds, to break old habits, and to build resilience one choice at a time. Now let's talk about something that's absolutely essential for resilience, a growth mindset. This is the belief that our abilities, intelligence, and resilience can be developed through effort and practice. When you have a growth mindset, you see challenges as opportunities to learn and grow, not as insurmountable obstacles. Here's why a growth mindset is so powerful: it shifts your perspective on failure and adversity. Instead of seeing challenges as a threat, you see them as an opportunity for growth. A growth mindset reframes setbacks as learning experiences. Instead of saying, "I failed," you say, "I learned something valuable." This shift in perspective is one of the most effective ways to build resilience because it stops you from feeling defeated and keeps you focused on growth. Imagine you're learning a new skill, like playing an instrument or starting a new job. If you have a fixed mindset, you might think, "I'm either good at this or I'm not. If I struggle, it means I'm not capable." But with a growth mindset, you think every struggle, every mistake is a stepping stone toward getting better. I may not be great yet, but I can improve. This attitude applies to every area of life, especially resilience. A growth mindset also enables you to see your challenges in a different light. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by obstacles, you start to view them as training grounds for resilience. Each setback becomes a chance to practice resilience, to test your limits, and to build inner strength. Over time, this mindset will transform the way you experience adversity. Instead of feeling defeated, you'll feel empowered, knowing that every challenge is making you stronger. Here's another key point: a growth mindset encourages you to embrace the idea of progress over perfection. It's not about getting everything right, it's about making small improvements, learning from mistakes, and celebrating each step forward. This approach builds resilience because it keeps you motivated and prevents you from getting discouraged when things don't go perfectly. So let's connect these dots. When you understand how your brain responds to stress, when you harness neuroplasticity to build new pathways, and when you adopt a growth mindset, you're setting yourself up for resilience at a deep neurological level. Each of these elements, mental adaptability, neuroplasticity, and a growth mindset, works together to build a foundation of resilience that's strong, flexible, and unbreakable. When you develop mental adaptability, you're training your brain to handle stress with grace. When you harness neuroplasticity, you're literally reshaping your brain to support resilience. And when you adopt a growth mindset, you're creating a perspective that allows you to thrive in the face of any challenge. Think of it this way: your brain is a tool, and resilience is the skill that allows you to wield that tool effectively. By training resilience, you're empowering yourself to face life's difficulties with strength, focus, and determination. You're building a mind that can handle anything life throws at you, and that's one of the most powerful gifts you can give yourself. Resilience isn't just a mindset, it's a science-backed skill. It's a combination of mental adaptability, neuroplasticity, and a growth mindset that enables you to overcome adversity, to bounce back from setbacks, and to use every challenge as a stepping stone to something greater. Every time you choose resilience, you're not only strengthening your mind, you're creating a life that's unbreakable, one choice at a time. Remember, resilience isn't about being unaffected by challenges. It's about rising to meet those challenges, understanding how your brain works, and using that knowledge to grow stronger with each experience. So embrace the power of resilience and know that with every obstacle you face, you're building a mind that's ready for anything. Let's make resilience real by looking at the stories of people who faced unimaginable challenges and yet came out stronger. These are the stories that prove to us that no matter how tough life gets, we have the power to rise. One powerful example of resilience is Nelson Mandela. Imagine being in prison for 27 years, cut off from family, freedom, and everything you love. Mandela was locked away for nearly 3 decades, yet he didn't let his spirit break. Instead, he used that time to reflect, grow, and deepen his commitment to justice. When he was finally released, he didn't seek revenge. He sought peace, unity, and reconciliation for his country. Nelson Mandela is a living testament to the power of resilience, of choosing growth over bitterness, even when the world gives you every reason to feel defeated. Another inspiring story is that of J.K. Rowling. Today, she's known around the world as the author of the Harry Potter series, but her journey was far from easy. Rowling faced poverty, single motherhood, and multiple rejections from publishers. Imagine that, facing rejection after rejection, all while struggling to make ends meet and raise a child alone. But she didn't give up. She kept pushing forward, believing in her dream. Finally, one publisher took a chance on her, and the rest is history. Rowling's story reminds us that resilience means believing in ourselves, even when the world doesn't, and pressing on in the face of repeated setbacks. Let's talk about Thomas Edison, a man who quite literally changed the world with his inventions. But few people know that Edison failed thousands of times before successfully inventing the light bulb. Thousands. Most of us might give up after a handful of failures, but Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His story is a powerful example of what it means to persevere, to learn from failure, and to view every setback as a step closer to success. Edison's resilience wasn't just about talent, it was about relentless determination. And here's one more. Malala Yousafzai, a young woman who defied the Taliban in Pakistan and fought for her right to an education. At just 15 years old, Malala was shot in the head by those who wanted to silence her. But she survived, and instead of giving up, she used her experience to amplify her message. Malala's courage and resilience have inspired millions around the world to stand up for their rights no matter the cost. Her story shows us that resilience isn't just about personal strength, it's about standing up for something bigger than yourself, even in the face of fear and opposition. Now, resilience isn't just about famous people or grand achievements. It's something we all experience on a personal level. Too, I'd like to share a personal story with you. There was a time in my life when I faced a serious setback that shook me to my core. I was trying to build something meaningful, something I believed in deeply. I put in countless hours, sacrificed, and poured my heart into it. But things didn't go as planned. The venture fell apart, and I was left questioning everything: my purpose, my vision, even my abilities. I remember feeling lost, like I had hit rock bottom. The weight of failure can feel heavy. It's a moment when every doubt you've ever had about yourself comes rushing in. But something inside me said, this isn't the end. This is just one chapter in a bigger story. I started to see the situation differently. Instead of feeling defeated, I saw it as an opportunity to grow, to rebuild. I asked myself, what can I learn from this? How can I come back even stronger? And that mindset shift, that willingness to learn from failure, is what helped me pick myself up and move forward. Looking back, I realized that this experience was one of the most important turning points in my life. It taught me resilience, and it showed me that sometimes our greatest setbacks are actually preparing us for our greatest successes. Now, I'm sharing this because I want you to know that resilience isn't about never falling. It's about learning to rise every time you do. It's about building the kind of mindset that sees every setback as a stepping stone. And believe me, if I can do it, you can too. Now, I want you to take a moment and think about your own life. Think back to a time when you faced a challenge or setback. Maybe it was a job loss, a breakup, a health scare, or something that felt overwhelming at the time. Think about that moment. How did it make you feel? Did you feel angry, hurt, lost? Did you doubt yourself? Now, consider this. What did you learn from that experience? Maybe it showed you how strong you are. Maybe it forced you to discover new resources within yourself. Maybe it pushed you to find new ways to cope, to adapt, to grow. Every hardship we go through leaves us with something that shapes us, strengthens us, and prepares us for the future. Think about the times in your life when you felt like giving up but didn't. Those are moments of resilience. Those are the times when you prove to yourself that you're stronger than you thought. Maybe you didn't realize it then, but every time you face adversity, you're building resilience. You're teaching yourself that you can handle life's storms, that you have what it takes to keep moving forward. So here's what I want you to do. Reflect on that experience. Identify what you learned from it, how it helped you grow. And remember that the next time you face a challenge, you already have the tools within you to overcome it. You've done it before. And you can do it again. Resilience isn't about being unaffected by life's hardships. It's about rising to meet them, learning from them, and emerging stronger each time. Resilience isn't just a word. It's a series of choices, a mindset, a way of facing life's difficulties with courage and hope. When you hear the stories of Nelson Mandela, J.K. Rowling, Thomas Edison, and Malala Yousafzai, remember that they didn't just happen to be resilient. They chose resilience, time and time again, in the face of adversity. And you have that same power. Think of your own story, your own battles, and recognize the strength it took for you to make it this far. Remind yourself that every challenge you've overcome has prepared you for the next. Resilience isn't something that only a few people possess. It's something we all have within us. It's built through our choices, our perseverance, and our willingness to keep going. Embrace resilience as your greatest asset. Know that like every great figure who's ever achieved something extraordinary, you too have the ability to rise above, to keep moving forward, and to transform every setback into a stepping stone to success. You have a story worth telling, a strength worth cultivating, and a future worth fighting for. All right, let's get into the nuts and bolts of resilience. It's one thing to talk about resilience, but how do you actually build it? How do you make resilience a part of your daily life so that no matter what comes your way, you're ready to face it head on? The first tool I want you to master is reframing challenges. Our lives are full of moments that seem like setbacks, like the universe is putting roadblocks in our path. But here's a truth you need to embrace. Setbacks are often setups for comebacks. Every obstacle is an opportunity in disguise. Resilient people know that it's not the events themselves that define them, but how they interpret and respond to those events. So how do you do this? Let's say you're going through a rough patch at work. Maybe you missed a promotion or a project didn't go as planned. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to become better? This isn't about ignoring the tough stuff. It's about choosing to see it as a chance to grow. One of the most effective techniques is to ask better questions. Instead of asking, why did this happen to me, ask, what is this situation trying to teach me, or how can this experience make me stronger? This simple shift in perspective can completely change how you experience challenges. Every question you ask your brain shapes your thoughts, emotions, and ultimately your actions. Ask empowering questions, and you'll find empowering answers. Next up is emotional intelligence. Now, resilience isn't just about pushing through, it's about understanding and managing your emotions. You see, when we're hit with challenges, emotions like fear, frustration, and sadness can feel overwhelming. And the more intense these emotions, the harder it can be to stay resilient. Emotional intelligence is the skill that helps you stay calm and focused even when things get tough. It's about recognizing what you're feeling and choosing a productive way to respond. Let's say you're feeling anxious about something. Instead of letting that anxiety take control, acknowledge it, name it. Studies have shown that simply labeling an emotion can reduce its intensity. So say to yourself, I'm feeling anxious right now, but that's okay. I can handle this. This simple act of acknowledging your emotions is a form of self-compassion. And it allows you to process those feelings without being overwhelmed by them. Another powerful tool is mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness can help you become more aware of your emotional responses. It allows you to notice your thoughts and feelings without judgment. When you're mindful, you're not swept away by your emotions. You're observing them with curiosity. This helps you gain control over your reactions, making it easier to stay resilient. Let's talk about small goals. One of the biggest mistakes we make when we're facing tough times is focusing on the big picture of the mountain we need to climb. When you're in survival mode, that mountain can feel impossible. But here's the secret: resilience is built one step at a time. Setting small, achievable goals helps create momentum. When you're dealing with a tough situation, break down your goals into manageable steps. Let's say you're going through a rough time financially. Instead of focusing on fixing everything at once, set small goals like creating a budget, cutting unnecessary expenses, or finding small ways to increase your income. Each small win gives you a sense of progress, and that sense of progress builds your resilience. Why does this work? Because each small success triggers a release of dopamine, the brain's feel-good chemical. Dopamine makes us feel motivated and more optimistic, which helps us keep pushing forward. Remember, resilience isn't built by leaping from failure to success overnight. It's built through consistent, small steps in the right direction. Here's a truth we often overlook: resilience isn't a solo journey. You don't have to go through life's challenges alone. In fact, one of the most important factors in building resilience is having a strong support system. People who have close, supportive relationships are more likely to bounce back from adversity. Why? Because social connections provide us with emotional support, practical advice, and encouragement. They remind us that we're not alone, and that makes all the difference. Think about the people in your life. Who supports you? Who challenges you to become better? Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who believe in you even when you don't believe in yourself. And don't be afraid to lean on them when times are tough. Resilience doesn't mean going it alone. It means knowing when to ask for help. It's okay to lean on others. It's a sign of strength, not weakness. Resilience requires energy, and that's why self-care is essential. When we talk about self-care, we're not just talking about bubble baths or relaxation. We're talking about the daily habits that keep your body and mind strong so you can handle whatever life throws at you. Start with the basics. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you eating nutritious food and staying hydrated? Are you moving your body regularly? Taking care of your physical health isn't just about staying fit. It's about building a strong foundation for resilience. When your body is healthy, your mind is more capable of handling stress. When you're sleep deprived, hungry, or physically depleted, your resilience takes a hit. Mental self-care is just as important. Take time each day to do something that rejuvenates you mentally, whether it's meditation, journaling, or simply spending a few minutes in silence. These practices help you recharge. giving you the mental clarity and strength to face life's challenges with a fresh perspective. Resilience isn't about resisting change, it's about embracing it. Life is unpredictable, and if we're rigid in our thinking, every unexpected change will feel like a threat. But when we develop adaptability, we can move with the flow of life instead of against it. Adaptability means being willing to try new approaches, to think outside the box, and to adjust your plans when necessary. When life throws a curveball, ask yourself, how can I adapt? What's the best way forward? Given the new circumstances, this flexibility is what allows resilient people to thrive in an ever-changing world. Instead of clinging to one path, they explore new possibilities and find ways to make the best out of any situation. Gratitude might sound simple, but its impact is profound. When you're going through a tough time, it's easy to focus on everything that's going wrong. But gratitude is a way to refocus on what's going right. And the best part, practicing gratitude actually rewires your brain. Studies show that people who regularly practice gratitude experience greater emotional resilience. Why? Because gratitude shifts your perspective. It trains your mind to look for the good, even in difficult situations. Try this at the end of each day. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. It could be something as small as a warm cup of coffee, a kind word from a friend, or the strength to make it through another day. This simple practice can help you build a resilient mindset focused on abundance, not scarcity. Finally, resilience is about learning from failure. Failure is a part of life. It's a part of growth. But resilient people don't see failure as the end, they see it as feedback. They ask themselves, what went wrong? What can I do differently next time? Every setback is an opportunity to learn, to improve, and to come back stronger. When you fail, don't let it define you. Instead, let it refine you. Look at failure as a teacher. When you view every setback as a stepping stone, you start to see that resilience isn't about never falling. It's about getting back up every single time. The more you learn from your failures, the stronger and wiser you become. Each of these strategies, reframing challenges, building emotional intelligence, setting small goals, cultivating support systems, practicing self-care, embracing adaptability, focusing on gratitude, and learning from failure are tools that will strengthen your resilience. Remember, resilience is a skill. And like any skill, it takes practice. You're not expected to master it overnight. But if you commit to integrating even one of these strategies into your life, you'll start to see a transformation. Let's talk about the biggest roadblock on the path to resilient self-doubt. Everyone has that inner critic, that voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough, not smart enough, not resilient enough. And in times of adversity, that voice can become deafening. But here's the truth. Self-doubt is a part of being human. It's a signal from your mind that you're stepping out of your comfort zone, that you're facing challenges that matter. The question is, how do you silence that voice? First, start by recognizing self-doubt as just a thought, not a fact. You are not your doubts. Just because you think, I can't do this, doesn't mean it's true. Thoughts come and go. But they only have power if you believe them. When self-doubt shows up, acknowledge it, but don't engage with it. Imagine your self-doubt as like a pesky bird perched on your shoulder. You can notice it without letting it affect your actions. Another powerful strategy is to reframe self-doubt with evidence. Look back at times in your life when you succeeded despite challenges. Maybe you faced a difficult exam, a tough project, or even a personal crisis. Remember that you came through it. Remind yourself of those victories, those moments when you proved that you could rise above the odds. Write down those achievements and read them whenever self-doubt creeps in. Each of those moments is proof that you are capable. Self-doubt thrives in the absence of action, so take small steps toward your goal. Confidence is built through repeated action. Start with one small step, then another. Each time you move forward, no matter how small the step, you're proving to yourself that you can do it. And with each small victory, your self-doubt starts to lose its grip. Let's face it, one of the toughest parts of resilience is dealing with external criticism. When you're working towards something meaningful, there will always be people who doubt you or don't see your vision. It might be friends, family, or colleagues who question your choices. The key is to remember that other people's opinions do not define your worth or your ability to succeed. One of the best strategies for handling criticism is to understand that everyone has a perspective shaped by their own experiences and limitations. Sometimes, when people criticize, it's a reflection of their own insecurities. They may not understand your goals because they haven't walked in your shoes. Take a moment to separate the criticism from your self-worth. Just because someone else doesn't see your potential doesn't mean it isn't there. Another effective technique is to focus on constructive feedback and ignore the rest. Not all criticism is harmful. Some feedback can actually help you improve. Learn to filter out the noise. If there's something valuable in the feedback, take it on board. but it's just negativity. Let it roll off your back. Imagine you're wearing a suit of armor that deflects unhelpful criticism. And remember, the most resilient people use criticism as fuel. When someone says you can't do it, let that become the fire that drives you forward. Turn criticism into motivation. Show them, and more importantly, show yourself that you're stronger than they think. Now let's talk about another massive roadblock, the fear of failure. If there's one thing that holds people back from resilience, it's the idea that failing is something to avoid at all costs. But failure is not the end, in fact. Failure is a stepping stone toward growth. Every failure carries a lesson, a piece of wisdom that can make you stronger. Think about it, every successful person has failed, often more times than they've succeeded. Failure is part of the journey. When you fail, it doesn't mean you're not capable. It means you're growing, learning, and pushing your limits. To start embracing failure, shift your mindset. Instead of seeing failure as a reflection of your abilities, view it as feedback. Failure is simply a result, a way of showing you what doesn't work. It's information that can help you improve and adapt. Every time you fail, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this experience help me succeed next time? This mindset shift helps you see failure as a tool for growth rather than a barrier. And remember, failure is temporary, but the lessons you learn from it are lasting. The more you fail and learn, the more resilient you become. When you stop fearing failure, you unlock a new level of potential within yourself. You stop holding back and you start moving forward with confidence, knowing that even if you fall, you can get back up and try again. Finally, let's talk about the fear of uncertainty. The unknown can be intimidating. As humans, we crave stability and predictability, but life doesn't always give us that luxury. In fact, one of the few certainties in life is that things will change. Learning to handle uncertainty is a core part of resilience. The first step in managing uncertainty is to accept that not everything is within your control. Trying to control every outcome only leads to frustration and anxiety. Instead, focus on what you can control: your mindset, your actions, and your responses. When you let go of the need to control everything, you free yourself from the weight of constant worry. Another strategy is to develop a flexible mindset. Being flexible means being open to different outcomes. It's about being prepared to adapt when things don't go as planned. Think of it like driving in a storm. You might need to slow down or take a different route, but you'll still reach your destination. Flexibility gives you the freedom to navigate the unknown with resilience, knowing that you can handle whatever comes your way. One powerful tool for managing uncertainty is focusing on the present moment. Anxiety around the unknown often stems from future-focused worries. Thinking about all the what-ifs. Practicing mindfulness can help you bring your focus back to the present. Ground yourself by paying attention to your surroundings, your breath, and your current actions. When you focus on what's happening now, the fear of the unknown starts to lose its power over you. And finally, remind yourself that uncertainty is where growth happens. The unknown is where you discover what you're truly capable of. Embracing uncertainty means stepping into possibility. Every time you face the unknown with courage, you build a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. Each of these roadblocks, self-doubt, external criticism, fear of failure, and fear of uncertainty, can feel overwhelming. But remember, they're just that, roadblocks, not dead ends. With the right mindset and tools, you can navigate around each one. Resilience isn't about never facing obstacles. It's about finding a way to move forward, no matter what challenges stand in your way. And every time you do, you're building a level of resilience that will serve you in every area of your life. Keep going, keep growing, and remember, each step forward, no matter how small, is a step toward a stronger, more resilient you. All right, let's take a moment to pause and imagine something together. Wherever you are, if you can, close your eyes. Take a deep breath and let go of the tension in your shoulders. Now, I want you to imagine yourself standing in front of a challenge, something you've struggled with. Something that might have once felt like a mountain too high to climb. Feel that moment, the weight of it, the doubts and fears, whatever might come up for you. Now, in your mind's eye, picture yourself stepping forward with confidence, even though that challenge feels big. Imagine yourself confronting it with strength, with courage. Visualize yourself overcoming it, pushing through, maybe taking it one small step at a time. See yourself at the top. Having climbed every inch of that mountain, how does it feel to reach that place? Imagine the sense of pride, the feeling of accomplishment. Let that image sink in, because this is where you're headed. This isn't just a mental exercise, this is training for resilience. Visualization is a powerful tool. Top athletes, entrepreneurs, and leaders use it to build the mental and emotional strength they need to succeed. It's like a rehearsal. when you visualize yourself conquering challenges. You're priming your mind to believe that you can. And when the real challenges come, you're more prepared, more confident, because in a sense, you've already lived it. Now, let's get specific. Think about a challenge you're facing in your life right now. Picture yourself working through it. Visualize yourself handling each obstacle that arises, finding solutions, and feeling your confidence grow with each step forward. Picture the outcome you desire. Maybe it's a goal you've been working toward, a dream you've been nurturing, or a breakthrough you want to achieve. See yourself there, having made it through the challenges, feeling strong, empowered, and fulfilled. When we visualize overcoming obstacles, we're setting a clear direction for our minds. This vision becomes our North Star. And every time things get tough, you can come back to this vision. Remind yourself of this moment, of what you're capable of, and let it carry you forward. Now that you've visualized yourself succeeding, let's talk about goal setting. Having a vision is crucial, but achieving that vision takes concrete, actionable steps. Setting clear goals is one of the most effective ways to build resilience, because each small win you accomplish becomes proof of your strength and determination. First, let's break down what we mean by clear goals. A clear goal is specific, measurable, and achievable. Instead of saying, I want to get better at handling stress, you might say, I will practice stress relief techniques like deep breathing for 5 minutes each morning. When your goals are clear and specific, you can measure your progress and track your success. And here's the magic. Each time you accomplish a small goal, you're giving yourself a boost of confidence. These small wins reinforce that you're capable, that you're moving forward, and that resilience isn't about making massive leaps all at once. It's about consistently taking steps, no matter how small, toward your ultimate vision. Start by setting short-term goals that align with your long-term vision. These short-term goals should be things you can accomplish daily or weekly, something that doesn't overwhelm you but gives you a sense of progress. For example, if you're building resilience in your career, a short-term goal might be reaching out to a mentor or learning a new skill relevant to your field. Each of these actions, no matter how small, is like adding a brick to the foundation of your resilience. Then, create a few medium-term goals that might take a few weeks or months to accomplish. Maybe it's finishing a project, reaching a fitness milestone, or improving a specific skill. Write these goals down. Each time you check one off, you're reinforcing that sense of progress, that you're moving closer to that vision you visualized. And finally, don't forget to set long-term goals that align with your ultimate purpose. Maybe you want to start your own business, achieve a specific role in your career, or overcome a personal challenge that's been holding you back. Long-term goals give you a direction, a reason to keep pushing forward, even when things get tough. And each step along the way, you're building the resilience needed to reach that end goal. Here's the connection. When you set and achieve goals, you're teaching yourself that you can overcome obstacles. You're proving to yourself that you're capable, that you can break down even the biggest challenges into manageable steps. This builds what we call a resilience mindset. A resilience mindset is that inner belief that no matter what comes your way, you can handle it. You can adapt, you can learn, and you can grow. Goal setting isn't just about reaching an endpoint, it's about building confidence and adaptability along the way. With each goal you achieve, you're reminding yourself that setbacks and obstacles are just part of the journey. They don't define the journey. The journey is defined by the steps you take, by the progress you make, and by the resilience you build in the process. Now, here's what I want you to do. Take a few moments to write down a few goals for yourself, goals that will help you build resilience. Start with one small, achievable goal that you can work on today or tomorrow. Something simple but meaningful, like taking a few minutes to meditate, practicing gratitude, or working on a skill that you know will help you grow. Then, add a medium-term goal, something you can work on over the next few weeks or months. Finally, write down a long-term goal that reflects your bigger vision for yourself. As you write these down, remember, resilience isn't about being unbreakable. It's about being flexible, adaptable, and committed to growth. Each goal you set, each challenge you face, is helping you build that resilience muscle. And each step you take is a step closer to that vision you hold for yourself. So you've got the vision and you've got the goals. You've taken the first step toward building unshakable resilience. Keep this vision close and revisit it often. Each time you face a tough situation, come back to this exercise. Visualize yourself overcoming. And remind yourself of the goals you've set. Because here's the truth, resilience isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. And with each step you take, you're becoming a stronger, more capable version of yourself. All right, now you've got the tools, the insights, and the understanding to start building resilience. But here's the thing, knowing is only half the journey. It's the doing that makes the difference. So I'm challenging you to start small today, right here, right now. Commit to one small step. It doesn't have to be monumental, just one action that aligns with what we've talked about today. Think about the areas of your life where you want to be more resilient, whether it's in your work, your relationships, your health, or even just how you approach your day-to-day challenges. Pick one technique you can start right away. Maybe you start with gratitude. Maybe you take a few moments to reframe a challenge you're facing right now. Or perhaps you'll commit to setting a small, achievable goal that moves you forward. Whatever it is, start with one step. And start today. Because resilience isn't built in a day, it's built day by day, action by action. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to start. One step is all it takes to get the momentum going. And trust me, once you take that step, the next one will feel a little easier. Each small action compounds. Each small win becomes a building block of your resilience. So, what's your one small step? Commit to it. Write it down. Say it out loud. And then take it. I want to challenge you. Yes, a challenge. This is more than just motivation. This is a way for you to actively engage with everything we've discussed today. For the next 30 days, I want you to commit to practicing resilience every single day. This isn't about drastic changes or pushing yourself beyond limits. This is about small, consistent actions, something simple but powerful every single day. Each day for 30 days, I want you to focus on one resilience-building technique. It could be something as small as reframing a negative thought or practicing a few minutes of gratitude. Or it could be making a conscious effort to learn from a setback. Or practicing adaptability in a tough situation. Every day, choose one action and carry it through. At the end of each day, reflect on it. How did it feel? What did you learn? How did it impact you? By the end of 30 days, you'll be amazed at how far you've come. This challenge is about developing habits that make resilience second nature. Imagine yourself 1 month from now stronger, more adaptable, and ready to face challenges with a new perspective. Imagine looking back at the person you were before this challenge and realizing just how much you've grown. That's the power of consistency. That's the power of resilience. To keep yourself accountable, consider writing down your progress or even sharing it with a friend or family member. Each day you succeed, mark it as a victory. And remember, if there's a day you stumble, that's okay too. Resilience is about getting back up and moving forward, no matter how many times you fall. And as we wrap this up, I want you to remember this. Every setback is just a setup for a stronger comeback. You have within you everything you need to overcome any challenge, to adapt, to grow, and to thrive. Life will throw obstacles your way, no doubt about it. There will be tough days, moments when you'll want to give up, times when the path forward seems uncertain. But it's precisely in those moments that you get to choose. Will you let the challenge defeat you, or will you rise above it? Will you choose resilience? Think back to every time you faced something hard and made it through. That wasn't luck, that was you tapping into your inner strength. Whether you realized it or not, resilience is part of you. It's woven into the very fabric of who you are. All you have to do is trust in that strength and keep building on it. So go out there, start today, take that one step, then take another tomorrow and keep going. And remember, this is a journey. You're not meant to have it all figured out right away. Each challenge you face, each time you get back up, you're becoming more resilient, more capable, and more powerful than you were before. Life isn't about avoiding the storm, it's about learning to dance in the rain. And with every step, every action, every small victory, you're building the resilience you need to not only survive, but to thrive. The world needs more resilient people, people like you who can stand strong, adapt, and find the light even in the darkest of times. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. Now go out there and start building that resilience muscle. You've got this.